Right, so you've just come over a stone road bridge because the waterfalls where I'm going to visit now come down the hill, go underneath the road via this little stone bridge, and then they go down and then continue underneath the railway line, which is down to my left there, look. So it travels down and goes through that little archway, which then goes underneath the railway line down the bottom there, look. So people take the pathway down and go underneath the railway lines and then see the stream going further down into the valley. But I'm just going to go across the road now to these waterfalls that you can see coming down the cliffside. There's the train now. So that train line passes where I'm going to be going up to see ASHGILL. But I'm just going to kill time now because it's still very early in the morning. And as you can see, it's very misty, so I won't be seeing much. Come here, son. Come on, across the road. Come here. Go on. Very fine mist blowing across here. Last time I came here, I was disgusted when I went across the right hand corner here because obviously people have been and dumped a load of bloody beer bottles just down here on the right. It's just a load of cans now being buried by the grass growing over them. Come here, son, come here. So this is where the waterfalls come down over the cliffside here, run down here and go underneath the road via that little viaduct thing there. Come here. Come here, son. So I'm just going to give him a little bit run around because he's been whinging in the back of the car. Come here, son. Come here. I've got to watch him like a hawk. He's just gone across the road without us there. You might want to drink as well, so I'll take him to the edge of the water here. Oh, falling all over here. It's keep bumpy land this. But there's your waterfalls. There's two. The main one over there to the left, and then another one where it's squeezing through the core of the rocks. Come here, son, get a drink. How are? See if he gets in. Go on, get a drink. Come here, son, get a drink. Good boy. There he goes. Come on, this way. Come on. Come here. Come on. Good boy. Come on. His feet are gonna get black. It's all soft, muddy, grassed area. This. It's all. Come here. Come here. It's all saturated with water after the rains, as you can see down there. Look. But it's not very picturesque at the moment because of the mist. You cannot really see them very well. But at least you can see that they're there on video. I'm just wondering whether to try and take a couple of pictures or not, but I don't think it'll turn out very clear. But it's just a nice little stop-off point on the road going down towards the Moorcock Inn pub on the junction with the A684, where I'll be turning left at Garsdale area and going along to see COTTERFORCE, which might be a bit better than these two here. This just makeshift path that I'm walking around now is where people go around to get closer to the waterfalls, but it's all soaking wet and sodden. But I'll try my best to get as close as I can without getting covered in mud for getting back in the car. You can always tell it's sodden with water when you see the tall grass, the reeds, but the dogs can't the waterfall there now. As you can see, he's just like a spring bean. When he first gets out the car, he's got that much energy to burn off. And this is why I insist on stopping, just to allow him to get a little bit runabout before I continue. That's quite a nice little waterfall, that. It's about, 15 to 18 foot drop altogether. The first initial one's about 3 to 4 foot, then splashes off the rocks, fills up and then drops down to the next one. And just goes down to a pool at the bottom there. And then the other one on the other side is where the water's coming down the hill and just goes through a crack in the rocks in the corner. But this is where I stopped with Jim last time I came down here, on my way to go to the little village of Dent and then we went further on towards the Ingleton waterfall trail, which is absolutely beautiful. It's waterfall after waterfall after waterfall, all in the same place. You just walk around the pathway and you see loads and loads of waterfalls, which are all spectacular in their own right. But this area here is all like really waterlogged and mushy, so people walk across the grass reeds to get over there to go a little bit closer to the waterfalls. But I'm not going to bother. I just don't want to get full of clots, like I say, for getting back in the car. It was just to give him a bit runabout. So once again, people, I've come through Barnard Castle onto the A66 and turned right, then come along the A66 and turned left to come down into Kirkby Stephen at Brough. Then I drove through Kirkby Stephen and turned left at Nadeby, then drove down past Nadeby, and I've come all the way down this road here to these waterfalls here, which are called ASHGILL Force, just by the railway line. And then I'm just going to jump back in the car in a minute and head all the way down to the bottom of this road, where you meet the junction with the A684 at the Moorcock Inn pub, and that's where I'll be turning left to go towards Cotterdale Force. But I'm just going to have a toilet break now and let him have a run about a couple of minutes before I get back in the car. So, just as a reminder, today's date is Thursday the 21st of March 2019, and it's still very early hours in the morning, and that's why you've got this cold mist. He's really gotten hell for leather on that tree. But he'll be better off when he goes back in the car, because he's had a little bit run about and burnt off some of the energy he's got, and you're not whinge as much. Right, so I'll bring you back. I've came down from where I've parked the car up on the just as you cross over the bridge there, where the waterfalls run down and go through that little arch tunnel underneath the road, and it starts winding its way down here. So I've made my way down off the main road along the little bridle path here past these two trees, then I've dropped down the embankment in this sodden grass and come down to this place here where you can see where the water's going underneath the railway lines here. So it's not spectacular by any means, but still nice to come and visit. And that's looking through the tunnel up underneath the railway lines, where it's running through and then continuing down into the valley below. But I just thought, because I've passed this place loads of times and I've stopped and gone across and had a look at the two waterfalls on the right hand side, so I thought I'd come down the left hand side and look through this tunnel where the water's going underneath the railway lines. Just a nice little area off the main road. And as I'm killing time, it'll start clearing up and all the mist will start lifting. And it'll be much better to come to get some video footage and some pictures. Right, so I'll just pan back round now to where it's coming underneath the road. Back there, which is a little waterfall, look. Right, so I'll stop recording for now. I'll take a picture through the tunnel here, underneath the railway line, and then I'll go up to the top end, where the water's cascading down from underneath the road, just to get that one on film as well. There's a big tree in its way, like, but I'll try and get closer so I get a shot where I'm not got the trees in the way. So I'll bring it back. I've scrambled back up the side of the embankment, up over through big boulders and rocks, and through the wet grass area and all that, to get a little bit closer shot of the waterfall coming through from the waterfalls on the other side of the road. So I'm just picturing now the waterfall coming down underneath the road and dropping down and running downhill to go down towards the railway lines and then go underneath through the tunnel there. So like I say, it's a nice area, but I think most people go down the opposite side because it's a little bit easier to come down the embankment down there and not as wet and sodden as I've just come through the high reeds here. The dog's gone in for a drink there. So that's quite a nice little waterfall coming through underneath the road there. Right, so I'll bring you back. I'm just looking back over the road bridge here. There's a little metal barrier and a concrete post at the far side. So I think for to go down, where you don't have to go through all that sodden long grass where I've just gone down through, people go down the opposite side of that tree there, then drop down the embankment on that side to get a picture of the waterfall coming through the road, and then drop them down there to the railway lines. There's a big coach coming along now. Is it empty or is it full with tourists? Nah, it's just the driver. So as you can see, the hills where I'm going to be going up to are still shrouded in mist and you can't see much. And you can see the mist blowing over in the wind coming from that direction over there. And I'm just getting tiny little droplets of water on my lens as well, like rain, where it's the dampness in the morning dew and what have you. But I'm now going to go follow where that coach is going down now, all the way down to the bottom of this road, where it meets the junction with the A684, like I say. And the pub on the corner is called the Moorcock Inn. Postcode is LA105PU. Right, so it's goodbye from the ASHGILL waterfalls on the side of the road. And it's down to Garsdale area now, down the bottom of this road. And ASHGILL is on the left hand side near the bottom before you get to the pub. There's a set of cottages that you pull into a lay-by, just as you see the signpost going into Cumbria. And then you walk along the track for about 200 yards and then you cross over the railway lines. And then ASHGILL waterfalls just on the left in the trees. So that's where I'm going to be visiting as well. So I'll bring you back. Right. Right, my recording stopped there, so I've just pulled over to press the record button again. Now I'm just passing over a bridge over the river to my right there, where it's saying there for sale, hose, blah 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 blah. And I think the lay-by is coming up on the left now, where you go along to see the river, the COTTERFORCE, sorry. There's a lay-by here just beforehand at this old barn, but I think the lay-by I want is further round. Is this it here? The road bridge, yeah, I think this is it here. I'll be pulling in here. Quiet! He drives me nuts! Right, so as you're coming down the road, the A684, I turned left at the Moorcock Inn pub, and I've come all the way along the road where I'm right next to the river again on the other side of the road there. So you come to this stone bridge across the river where you walk up to that pathway there to go and see COTTERFORCE. So I've remembered now where I pulled over and what I was looking for. It's that bridge across the river further back there that like the farmers use. But I'm just doing a bit of recording before I let the dog out the car and put him on his leader, because this is a really main road, this like. So this water coming down underneath the road is what's coming from COTTERFORCE waterfall area. And that's the river Ewer that it meets, and it goes round and along to the end of the road here, and then it meets the two stone bridges that go around, and S-bends to go across it twice as you're going towards Hawes. And as you can see in the distance here, daylight's coming in better and the clouds are just lifting up above the highest hills there. So I've parked my car up and I've just set my time-lapse camera away. And I'm just going to be going down this bit of a pathway through the gate there and just walk along the path, following the river up to the waterfall. And they're saying there, disabled wheelchair access, COTTERFORCE, quarter of a mile up this pathway. It's quite nice as well for a little waterfall area. Right, so without further ado, I'll put the dog on his leader and then taking for a walk along the pathway here. Right, so I'll stop recording briefly and take a couple of shots where I'm going. Right, so I parked the car up, locked it up, and now going to go along the footpath here to go and see Cotterdale waterfall. But on there it says footpath COTTERFORCE. So you go through this gate and just follow this path right along. Just keeping the left, the stream to your left. Right, how is this open? Right, I'll stop recording for now, so hang on, is it pulled it? That's it, right. Right, so just a nice little pleasant walk along the wire fence here, along the side of the river, and go up and see the waterfall at the top end. Right, so I'll stop recording for now, take a couple of shots of the surrounding countryside. Let him off his leader now because he's not going anywhere because of the wire fence. Right, from where I parked the car, it's not a long distance away from the main road to walk along this path here to go to the waterfall. Just as you're coming along, you'll see a bit of an old farm on the right hand side, and the pathway is bending round to the right. And I see the notice board further round at the top of the path. But the dog's just found a place where he can go down close to the water there. He's gone in for a drink. So we're just following the river all the way up on my left. And there's a concrete bench seat for people to sit on in the summer. Just taking the view. Right, so if anybody's interested to find out how I got where I am, I come along the A194M from South Shields. I joined the A1 at the Washington services, came down to junction 61 and turned right towards Spennymoor, Bishop Auckland, and then eventually you follow the A688 all the way down to Barnet Castle, across the bridge, then turn left, then go across to the A66, go underneath it and bear right, then join it and keep going along, and took the Kirkby Stephen turn off on the left, and then came through Kirkby Stephen village, and then turned left to go down through Nateby, and then eventually I came onto the road where I came down to ASHGILL Force, the first place I stopped there. Then I continued all the way down to the bottom of the road where you meet the pub called the Moorcock Inn, and I turned left onto the A684, and I've come along and parked the car at the end of this pathway where I'm on now, coming along to see Cotterdale Force waterfall, which I've been before, and it's very nice. And it's just a nice pleasant walk for to get off the main road and bring the dog along. And because the pathway is pretty flat and wide, as the sign suggests, people with wheelchairs can get pushed along here to see this beautiful sight as well. And there's the waterfall up there in the distance, look. Right, so I'll stop recording for now and I'll do a zoom shot of it from here. I knew he'd eventually find a tree, a dead tree that you can rip the bark off. It doesn't take him long. So he's going for a plodge and he's found a dead tree down there. So he just steadily ripped that to bits while plodging in the water. This is what builds his muscles up as well when he's riving and heaving and lifting dead trees. That's why his leg muscles are so powerful at the top end. But there you can see the waterfall coming into view now better, because it's just around the corner, about 250 yards, and there's a green notice board on the right hand side just as you get to it. So I'll put the information on video for you as well. few mallards keep taking off from the river when they see the dog, and I'm walking along getting close to them. But there you are. As you get round this bend, you can start seeing the waterfall much clearer, and you can see it's in two levels. You've got the back level, which drops down about 7 to 8 feet, and then you've got the front level, which is like over several step downs, about 3 to 4 feet, and then spreads right across the river. And when it's been lashing down the rain, it's fantastic. Oh, son, come on up here. Come on. So you pass this bit of a farmhouse on the right hand side as you're going up towards the waterfall, and as you get round this right hand bend to the junction where the wire fences meet, here you can get a nice bird's eye view. The river's not running that fast today because it's we haven't had heavy rains like we did the other day when I went to see Whitfield Force in ASHGILL, which is just further along that way as well. If I continue along the A684, I'd go back the way I was to ASHGILL and Redmire. I can actually change the way I go back home as well. I could continue along and take the left foot and go up towards the Green Dragon pub, then turn left and go right over the top of Cliffgate Road, which is beautiful scenery, which will take us past Butter Tubs again, where I was the other day with Jim, and go back up that way towards the Tannin pub just off the A66 and head back that way. I'm just undecided what to do, but I'm just out to kill the day, getting up early again, 4 o'clock this morning, to come down and just see some beautiful places and spend time out with the dog again, and hope you'll come along with us and enjoy it. But I can just see the notice board ahead now, about 500 yards on the right hand side, just beside the bench seat there, what people sit on and watch the waterfalls. I've just thought, no, I should have brought me a little time-lapse camera or my new one, and I could have set it down on the bench seat there and did a little time-lapse of the waterfalls coming down, but I've left it in the car. Right, so I'll bring you back as I get closer to the waterfall.